Okay, now I'm going to go through the answers to 14A worksheet. Okay, so let's look through the MCQ first. Okay, for question 1, okay, they tell you that indium is element group 13. What's the likely formula of indium chloride? What does it mean to be in group 13? Remember, what does group number tell us is number of valence electrons. Okay, and we look at the second digit. Okay, especially for those the group 10 and above. Okay, 10 to 18. Okay, number of valence, so it's 3 valence. Okay, so 3 valence electrons, what will it likely to do? Okay, indium will form an ion of In3 plus. Okay, because it will lose 3 electrons. Okay, so lose 3 electrons means it loses 3 minus, loses a negative 3 charge, so it becomes a plus 3 charge. Okay, so In3 plus and Cl minus, okay, if you put together you will have InCl3. Okay, because you want to balance, you can do the crisscross method. You put 3 and 1 and then you crisscross, then you get InCl3. Okay, next question 2, which statement about periodic table is correct? Okay, let's look one by one. Atoms of all elements in the same group have the same total number of electrons. Okay, is incorrect. Okay, because as you go down the group, you actually increase shell, right? Same group. Okay, down the group, okay, you increase number of electron shells. So it's not possible for them to have the same number of electrons. You always increase down the group. Okay, next. All groups contain both metals and non-metals. It is not true, because group 1 is your alkaline metals. That's just one example. As well as group 18 is your noble gases. Okay, all non-metals. Okay, C, there are more metallic elements than non-metallic elements. Maybe you can put a question mark first because you're not very sure. Okay, D, in every group, melting point decrease with increasing proton number. Okay, so what do they mean by increasing proton number? They just mean down the group. Okay, because as you go down the group, proton numbers will increase. Okay, melting point decrease with increasing proton number. So you just have to think of one group that doesn't obey this rule, and that is your group 17. Okay, so this is not true for group 17. Okay, for group 17, your halogens, your melting point actually increase down the group. Okay, so since it's not true for one group, this is already false, because they say for every group. Okay, so answer is C. Okay, this is D, this is C. Okay, question 3. Okay, okay, my chart looks a bit weird, but we'll just use this one here. Okay, question is, what could be the number on the vertical axis? Okay, so okay, this is N, O, F, N, E, and A, M, G. Okay, so if you look at this chart, they say what could be the number. You can just go you do just check the periodic table, and what do you notice? You actually notice that they are increasing in proton number, correct? So it's just from period 2 to cross to period 3. Okay, so if you think about it, if you already caught that, answer will be B, but you can also check for the rest if they are wrong. Okay, so A, number of outer shell electrons. Okay, you see that they are increasing all, but if you check the group number, okay, which is the ones number being the number of valence electrons. Okay, if I write, this will be the number of valence electrons, right? Sorry, nitrogen has 5 valence, oxygen has 6, fluorine has 7, neon has 8. Okay, back to 1 and then 2 for sodium and magnesium, so A is wrong. Okay, C, group number. Okay, if you want group number, is actually 15, 16, 17, 18, 1, 2. Okay, is definitely not increasing, so C is wrong. Okay, D, total number of electron shells in the atom of the element. Okay, notice that as you pass the noble gas, this is one group. Okay, this is period 3, this period 2, this period 3. Okay, so it's definitely wrong. Okay, because the period number corresponds to the total number of electron shells, and since they are from different periods, the number of electron shells will be different. Okay, question 4, which statement about charges from about changes from left to right across the period. Is correct statement about the changes from left to right across a period. Okay, A. Metals to non-metals. Okay, actually that is already the answer, but never mind, let's just move on. B. Okay, number of neutrons in an element decreases. Okay, it's not true. Okay, because actually some of them do increase. Okay, C. Elements become better conductors of electricity. Okay, no, it's false, because as you go, okay, left to right, if you go from across from left to right in the periodic table, you actually get from metals to non-metals, which means your electrical conductivity actually decreases, because non-metals are do not conduct electricity. Okay, last but not least, number of proton in the elements decreases. It is also wrong, because the proton number will increase from left to right. Okay, 5. Which statement is correct about element in group 14? Okay, A must be metal, must be non-metal. Okay, so you look at this such an option. Okay, it's not very conclusive, right? Because you know group 14, you have your metalloids. Okay, so you see the mass is already a hint, right? So most likely wrong. Okay, but in this case, you know they're definitely wrong, because group 14 has metalloids. Okay, you know that at here you have metalloid. Okay, C is atoms must have 4 shells. Must have 4 shells. So what does this mean? Must have 4 shells means must be in period 4. Okay, so sorry, not period 4. It must have 4 valence electrons, right? It must have 4 outer shell means must be group 14. Okay, so this is true. Okay, this is true for all. So remember back to atomic structure, that your group number actually corresponds to the number of valence electrons. Okay, group number, or rather the odd, the ones digit of your group number, okay, tells you the number of valence electrons. Okay, last one, must conduct electricity, is also wrong. Okay, because you have non metals inside group 14, like your carbon. Okay, 6. Radium is in the same group of periodic table as magnesium. What is the formula of radium ions? Magnesium formula is, the ion is Mg2 plus, so radium will follow, so Ra2 plus. Okay, so answer is B. Because why? Same thing, same group number of valence electrons is the same, therefore when they form ions, they will do the same thing. They will either lose the same or gain the same number of electrons, okay, depending on whether they are metal or non-metal to start with. Okay, 7. Tellurium Te is the same group of periodic table as sulfur. What's the formula of potassium telluride? Okay, sulfur will form a S2 minus ion, okay, because it's group 16. Okay, so it will gain 2 valence electrons, so Te will also be Te2 minus. Okay, so you want to pair K plus. Okay, potassium is group 1, so it will form a K plus by losing 1 electron. You want to pair K plus with T2 minus, you need, okay, you can use the crisscross method. K and 2 1, you get K2Te. Okay, answer is A. Okay, question 8. Okay, my diagram isn't showing. Okay, but what you have to do, okay, my diagram is over here. Okay, so you need to study this diagram very carefully. They ask you E, containing E and hydrogen. So hydrogen is your axis, right? So these are hydrogen. Okay, so there's 4 hydrogen. Okay, 4 hydrogen, and the rest are the x's are the 4, the electrons of hydrogen. Okay, so maybe I just write the hydrogen in first. Hydrogen here, hydrogen here, hydrogen here. Okay, hydrogen is sharing 1 electron. Each hydrogen is sharing 1 electron with the E. Okay, we don't know what is E. We are supposed to find out what is E. Okay, which group in the periodic table does E belong to? Okay, we must know that they are sharing 1 electron each. Okay, or they form 1 single bond. Okay, and when we talk about sharing, it's always equal, so okay, you have to divide by 2, and these are the original, okay, from the each E. Okay, so each E originally has, you count 1 2 3 4 5 electrons each. Okay, so 5 electrons, which means, okay, 5 valence electrons, so it's group 15 because you're looking at the second digit. Okay, the ones digit of the group, so answer is B here. Okay, I think a lot of you you didn't factor in, you didn't divide the 2 electrons, so you just look at one side with a 6 and then you say group 16. That is wrong. Okay, remember, sharing is equal. Okay, as far as your syllabus goes, is equal. Okay, question 9. How many periods of periodic table contain all the elements with protons? 1 to 18. Okay, so you have to count. If you go and count properly in the periodic table, answer is 3. Okay, because proton 1 to 2 is period 1. Okay, because it's hydrogen and helium. Period 2 is 3 to 18. Okay, 3 is hold on. Sorry. Okay. 3 to 10, and then third period is 11 to 18. Okay. Yep. So I missed out the number. So if you count 3 periods. Okay. Okay. Question 10. Okay. Rhenium is in the same group as manganese. Okay. So manganese is your Mn. Okay. So what's the formula of potassium rhenate? Okay. So same thing. Potassium will form K plus. Okay. Remember what kind of bonding these are. Okay, potassium metal. The moment you have one metal, okay, you only learned ionic and covalent bonding, right? So it has to be in this point already ionic. Okay, and then this is actually a polyatomic ion. Okay, so same group as manganese. So you need to check what is manganese group. So manganese is actually transition metal, right? Okay, but you can know you need to remember your potassium manganate. Okay, so potassium manganate, so that you can link it to rhenate. So what is the formula of potassium manganate? Is KMnO4. Okay, and your is made of K plus and MnO4 minus. KMnO4 minus is your manganate ion. Okay, so since rhenium is in the same group as manganese, you can replace Mn with Re. So it's a ReO4 minus with a K plus. So since the charges cancel out, you can just combine them to get KReO4, and the answer is A. Okay, so answer is A. Okay, so that's it for the MCQ. Okay, next for the section A, structured. Okay, the table below shows the electronic structure, so you need to understand, okay, what is the significance of this. Okay, if need be, you can go and outright identify them in the periodic table. So this will be helium, 28 would be neon, okay, 281 will be sodium, okay, 287 will be chlorine, 284 will be silicon, okay, 288 will be calcium. Okay, if that helps. Okay, so 2 in the same group. Okay, same group means what? Same number of valence electrons. Okay, so you just need to check for valence. Notice the only ones that are similar is A and F, which both have 2. There's no other pair with same number of valence electrons. Okay, so A and F. Part B, give the letters of 2 elements which are in the same period. Okay, so same period meaning that they're same number of electron shells. Okay, which means they have the same in terms of electronic configuration, they have the same you can clearly see same number of shells. So your answers are either A and B because both have 2 shells each, C and D because both have 3, C and E same both have 3, or D and E for both have 2 L-shaped. Okay, you cannot have a F with anything because F has 4 shells because of the last 2. Yep, and A and B cannot pair with anything else but each other. Okay. Part C, give the letter of noble gas. Noble gas is group 18, which means they have either 2 or 8 valence electron. Okay, which is the noble gas with 2 valence electron is helium. Okay, so in this case, answer has to be B. Okay, 2.8, which is neon anyway, if you went to identify. Okay, part 2, reacts with water to produce strongly alkaline solution. This is your alkaline metal, and they are found in group 1. So you check for 1 valence electron, it has to be C. Okay, element that forms a negative ion, which means that it must be non-metal. Only non-metals form negative ions. Okay, which means it has 5 to 7 valence electrons. Group 15 to 17. Okay, so here you check, go up, only F will satisfy. Only D will satisfy because D has 7 valence electrons. Okay, the only one that has 5 or more. Okay, so answer is D for part 3. Okay, next, thallium has proton number 81. Use the periodic table to help you answer the following questions about thallium. Which group number is 13? Okay, you should not get this wrong. Just look at the periodic table and identify thallium is group 13. Okay, it is actually below indium and gallium. Okay, the same column as aluminium. How many outer shell does this atom of thallium have? Okay, somehow a lot of you didn't manage to get this. All you have to do is look at the second digit of the group number and you have 3. Okay, likely formula of thallium ion, since it is in group 3, it has 3 valence electrons. If you were to form an ion, you would lose 3 electron to form, and then you will get a positive 3 charge. Okay, so it's a Tl3 plus, similar to aluminum when it forms a ion. Next, do you expect thallium to be metal or non-metal? Give one reason for your answer. Okay, a lot of you managed to say metal, but you didn't manage to explain well. Okay, first, how do you explain? Okay, you can say that thallium is in group 13, but of course, remember, in group 13 we have metalloids. Okay, and in further down in group 13, you actually know that because you have metalloids, so you cannot conclude. So in this case, you have to explain back to the formation of the ion. So because it loses 3 valence electrons to form a positive ion, okay, to attain electronic configuration of noble gas. So you must remember this portion, attain electronic configuration of a noble gas, which is why atoms who want to form molecules or they want to form ions in the first place. Okay, so because you know that it loses 3 valence electrons, you know it has to be a metal, because metals, the characteristic of metals is that they lose valence electrons to form positive ions. Okay, in C, estimate number of neutrons present in typical thallium atom. Sure, you decided your answer. It's actually very straightforward. You take mass number of thallium, mass or nuclear number, okay, minus your proton number. Okay, this one is back to atomic structure. You'll get 1, 2, 3, and that's all you need to show. Okay, next, 3, some properties of the first 4 groups. Okay, actually this is group 17, not VII. Elements are given in the table. Okay, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and they ask you to fill in by estimated properties for fluorine. Proton number is 9, just check periodic table. MR, why is it 38 instead of 19? It's because it exists as F2. Going back to covalent bonding, why? Because fluorine has 7 valence electrons, each fluorine atom, and then it will want to share 1 valence electron with another fluorine atom so that both of them will achieve, okay, octet configuration, or attain the electronic configuration of a noble gas. Okay, of course I have to write it on the, okay, you put the electrons around. So this is how the fluorine molecule will look like. Okay, next, number of valence electrons 7. Check the group number and take the ones digit. Melting point, boiling point. Okay, I think a lot of you use ChatGPT and you got this exact answer. Okay, how do you actually make predictions from this trend? Okay, you can just do some simple math. Okay, take out your calculator, find out the differences from each, okay, element to the next. So if you subtract, you find the difference, you get 1 to 1 from bromine to iodine in terms of melting point. From chlorine to bromine, melting point is 94. Okay, from chlorine to bromine for boiling point, it is increase in 94. Increase in 94, followed by increase in 1 to 5. So if we work backwards, okay, you should expect around 60 for the melting point. Difference in 60 as well as boiling point about 60. Okay, so this difference is 31, and if I subtract 31 again, I get 63. Okay, if I subtract 31. Okay, so same thing here. 94 to 1 to 1 is actually a gain of 28. Okay, so same thing, I can actually 27. Okay, and then you can just do a subtraction. Okay, so you can just estimate the number. The exact number isn't really important, but if I subtract, okay, if I go subtract 60 from minus 101, I should get around minus 161. So actually this is the range that we will accept. If you write around 161, I will already accept. Okay, of course it's not very possible to get the exact answer in the exam, and you shouldn't be relying on the internet. So this is how you do it mathematically. Okay, same thing for boiling point. Okay, if you subtract around 63 from minus 35, you should get around minus 98. So I actually accepted answers around minus 98 as well. Okay, the range is hard to say because it's really up to the marker. Okay, but I would say that as long as you follow these ranges and you to make your estimates, this number should be okay around this range. It should be fine. Okay, color of vapor pale yellow. You have to memorize this from the textbook. Okay, next section B. Okay, element X forms a ionic oxide X2 plus O2 minus. Okay, actually the formula is just XO. Okay, and please read the question. They said predict giving your reason. So if you don't read during exam, you're gonna forfeit marks like that. Okay, predict whether it's metal or non-metal. Okay, you can say that it's a metal. Why? Because it loses 2 valence electrons, okay, to form a positive ion. Okay, alternative answers are like, you can say that it forms an ionic compound. Okay, or you can say forms an ionic compound with oxygen or with oxide ion. Okay, O2 minus ion also works. Okay, but how do you tell there's a metal? Is really going back to the fact that it forms a positive ion. Okay, so some of you mentioned you didn't mention about losing 2 valence electrons. You said form positive ion, but remember, hydrogen is a non-metal, but it can also form H plus, a positive ion. Okay, and so you must mention the losing 2 valence electrons here. Okay, in part B, which of group does the periodic table element X is found? Is definitely group 2. Why? Because it has a charge of plus 2. Okay, charge of plus 2 is due to losing 2 electrons, 2 valence electrons. Okay, and the only group 2, okay, remember valence electron translate to the group number, so it's group 2. Okay, likely formula of ionic compound formed by X with halogen Y. Okay, halogen Y means it will form a Y minus, because all halogens have 7 valence electrons. They will gain 1 valence electron to, okay, achieve the noble gas configuration. Okay, so X is a X2 plus, halogen Y minus. So X2 plus with a Y minus, okay, it will form, okay, you can do the swap here. Okay, 1, 2, you'll get XY2. Some of you stop here, did not explain. You need to explain that X will transfer 2 valence electron to 2 atoms of Y. Remember, you need 2 Y, okay, to form ionic compound with X2 plus Y minus ions. Okay, so these 2 atoms of Y is important because you need 2 Ys to take 2, each to take 1 valence electron from X2 from X. Okay, so they get X2 plus. Okay, this plus to get X2 plus. Okay, 2 atoms of Y to get 2Y, 2 times Y minus. Okay, to combine together to get XY2. Okay, 2A. Okay, carbon and silicon are both elements in group 40 of periodic table. What feature of their electronic structures explains why both in group 14? Okay, remember, group number equals 1's digit of group number equals to number of valence electrons. Okay. Okay, carbon forms compound methane and silicon forms compound silane. Calculate mass of silicon if obtained in 12.8 kg of silane. A lot of you did mole ratio. Actually, there's no need to do mole ratio. Why? Because they want mass of silicon in something. So it's actually a percentage mass question. So if you use percentage mass of silicon and you multiply by the mass of silane, you will get the answer immediately. Okay, so how do you find percentage mass? You use mass of silicon, which is 28. Okay, and then you take the mass of silane. Okay, so this is SiH4 and this is Si. Okay, so silane's mass is 28 plus 4 because each hydrogen is 1. This is the percentage mass. Okay, this portion is percentage mass of Si in SiH4, and then you multiply by 12.8 kg, you get 11.2 kg. Okay, so this is the easiest and fastest method. There's no need to find moles. Okay, part 2. By comparison with the complete combustion of methane oxygen gas, predict the chemical names or formulas of the product of complete combustion of silane oxygen. First, you have to determine the complete combustion of methane form reaction is CH4 plus O2 gives you CO2 plus H2O. This is a complete reaction, complete combustion reaction products, standard products, which is carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so now you have to balance it. Very simple. You just need to go, because you have 4H here and only 2H, you need to balance out with a 2 here. And because now you have 2 times oxygen and 2 oxygen, you have 4 oxygen on the left, on the right, so you need 4 oxygen on the left, so you put 2 in front of O2 to get 4 oxygen. Now it is balanced. Okay, so if you think about it, if I'm just replacing the C with Si, I will get SiH4 plus 2O2. Okay, remember, because they are in the same group, which means that when they form bonds, they will look, the formula will be similar. Okay, so same thing, plus instead of CO2, I form SiO2 now, plus 2H2. Okay, you can check it is balanced because I'm just substituting the C with S. Okay, and the question asks for names of formulas of products. Okay, so I only want the products. Don't give me the equation. Question didn't ask for equation, and question didn't ask for reactants. Okay, so if you want to say names, you can say silicon dioxide. Okay, or you say silicon 4 IV oxide. Okay, because it's a plus 4 OS if you calculate. Okay, and then water as well. Okay, or you want formula, you can say SiO2 and H2O. Okay, please do not include mole ratio. Do not include mole ratio. Okay, last part. Carbon forms compound sodium carbonate Na2CO3. Predict formula of sodium silicate. Okay, so why did they even tell you about sodium carbonate? Okay, because they are telling you that you want to replace, okay, the C with Si. Okay, so all you need to do is change this C to Si, so you get Na2SiO3. Why? Because C and S belong to the same group, so they behave very similarly, chemically similarly. Okay, so yeah, same group, same compound with same formula. So carbonate is CO3 2 minus, therefore silicate is SiO3. O3 to minus. Okay, and that's all for this worksheet.